It is now believed that the hijacker, D.B. Cooper, may have seen the European comic books with their hero, Dan Cooper. These comics were never translated into English and never brought stateside. Let's examine the importance of this development. On November 24, 1971, about 2 p.m., a nondescript man walked up to the ticket counter at Northwest Airlines in Portland, Oregon. Dennis Lisney, the Northwest ticket agent, took his request, a one-way coach ticket to Seattle. The man paid with a $20 bill. Dennis asked his name, and the man replied, "Cooper, Dan Cooper." Here is the name as written on his airline ticket. This is the handwriting of Dennis Lisney, not the passenger. For more than 30 years, no one made the connection. Dan Cooper was thought to be a generic alias like John Doe or Bob Smith. But then the FBI discovered that Dan Cooper did have significance. He was a European comic book hero. The FBI's revised profile of D.B. Cooper was that he was in the service and was stationed in Europe, where he took an interest in the Dan Cooper comics. In this past decade, a Canadian film was made about this comic book series titled In Search of Dan Cooper. Here is a website regarding the film and their forgotten hero. Note that this site also includes a trailer that you can watch. In it, Dan Cooper is described as defender of good against evil. But let's read about some of the segments in this film. Comic book character, created by Albert Weinberg. Dan Cooper was an everyday hero, a friendly Canadian who had a dream job. D.B. Cooper. In the United States, Dan Cooper's name is associated with an unsolved 1971 hijacking. Weinberg believed a connection existed. Cooper's values. Despite the tragedy of Dan Cooper's lost love, he never strays from his core values of altruism and compassion. In addition, Jeffrey Gray, author of the book Skyjack, speaks through an interpreter with the creator of the comic book series, Albert Weinberg. How would you define his character? Gray asks. I think the main quality of my character is that he's very, very sensitive, Weinberg says. Even though he was a military pilot, he always held a high regard for human life. So we can see that the fictional hero Dan Cooper is a friendly man who is sensitive, compassionate, and has a high regard for people's lives. So what does this convey about the hijacker D.B. Cooper? Is he a murderer? Is he an assassin? Is he a thief? If so, he didn't read these comic book stories and identify with the hero, because Dan Cooper is none of these. But what if, as the FBI speculates, Dan Cooper was in the military and stationed in Europe? But in addition to seeing these comic books, he is multilingual and can actually read and understand the stories. Then D.B. Cooper may actually identify with the hero, Dan Cooper. We know that D.B. Cooper hijacked Flight 305 some 49 years ago because he had a grudge. This is well documented in the FBI records. So has the hijacker become the comic book hero Dan Cooper? And is he on a mission to get justice? Let's see how Joe Lackich would fit into this scenario. At 18 years old, Joe could speak fluent Serbian as well as English. After his retirement from the military life in 1961, a close family member states that Joe could speak fluent Italian as well as other languages. Joe was gifted from a linguistic standpoint. It appears that he acquired languages from countries where he was stationed. Late in his military career, Joe spent 3 years stationed in Germany. German would have been one of the languages he acquired. And as we can see, the Dan Cooper comics were printed in German. Therefore, Joe has not only the opportunity to see the Dan Cooper comics, he has the ability to read and understand them. In essence, on November 24, 1971, Major Joe Lackich became Major Dan Cooper. It became his mission to avenge the evil people who had killed his daughter but denied all responsibility. Just like the comic book hero Dan Cooper, Joe Lackich would risk his life to achieve justice. But his mission would be altruistic and not cause harm to innocent souls. It is his mantra to bring about justice, but without hurting others. For once in his life, rather than plan a mission for others, Joe Larkich plans a mission for himself. When we examine the aspects of D.B. Cooper hijacking, the comparisons between Major Joe Larkich and Major Dan Cooper are uncanny. The name Dan Cooper has far more significance in the D.B. Cooper case than anyone has ever imagined.